In this video, we're going to explore how to append multiple elements in JavaScript. And here what we're going to do is we're going to create multiple elements, and then after that we're going to insert them or append them together. What we're going to use is here the append child, and this is very, very important here. Alright, so let's start and let's start quickly. For example, here we're going to create a div, and this div has a class. We'll call this the card box. And within this div, we will have a new item, which is a class that we call card. And then within here, of course, what we have is the div class card body. And finally, in here, we have two items. We have the card title. So we have a, you can say here a h3. There's a class card title. There's a title here. And finally, we have also a paragraph. And this paragraph will be called, or this is just a basic paragraph. So, hello, this is a basic paragraph. All right. So the goal is to duplicate this, but what I want to do before we even do that is refresh here. Alright, we have this. What I want to do now is I want to create a quick CSS design on this. We say here for the class card box, alright. Then we say here for the class card, the following. We say here border. Then we say here solid. Then we say here triple number 3, 1 pixel. And then we say here background. And we can give this white, that is fine. And then we say here border radius 5 pixels. Alright, so once we do that here, we have this. Alright. Then what we want to do is here, I want to just create the width. And I want to assign a specific width here. We can say width, let's say 35 characters, that will be a ch, meaning that this will be 35 times the width size of the character number 0. Alright, so you got that one. There we are, so that looks more than decent. And then finally what we're going to do is in the card itself, or in the card body, we want to give a padding. We say here card body, and this card body will get a padding of 10 pixels. And should we give it a background? I'm not sure yet here. I think this is fine. And then what we can do as well, the text of the card title, we can put it in the center. So we say this, text, align, center. There we are. Alright, so that looks quite decent. Well, not really, to be honest. Let's give it a little bit of decent height. 250 pixels. And once we did that, that looks slightly better. So what we really want to do here, and maybe we can give this a, we have the background color white, and what we can do here is then in the card box, class card box, we'll say here height VA of 100 VH for the viewport, height, basically the height here. And then finally what we're going to do here is background, and we say this is 333 as well. And once we did that, alright. So we have here maybe a padding here, 10 pixels. There we are. So we have this now here, and we could even make this a display flex box. So alright, we have this now. What we want to do here now is we want to add up a new element here. However, our element that we want to append, the multiple append for the append child, will be entire card box here, basically this entire card. So let's start and work on doing this. To do this, we're going to use JavaScript. We say a script, and then within here we're going to work and adding up the specific item. So let's see what's going on here, or how will this work. What we want to do here, well, what I will make here is a button, and basically when we click on this button, let me say here plus card. So when we do that, alright, that's here up. So the moment we click on this, we will add a new card here. That's what we want to do, or that's the end goal. So how to do this? First of all, to do this, we must create here a new element consisting of multiple divs, 1, 2, 3 divs, an h3, a paragraph, and some proper classes along the way. So let's start and do this one. So this is a quite challenging one. So we say here, first of all, we say a constant, and this constant will be a variable, and I will call this the card box constant, and this constant is straightforward a new card box. So we could be maybe a new card box, would make more sense probably, new card box, and then we say here create, not create, a document dot create element, and then within here we're going to put in the caps locks, and this must be in uppercase or caps locks, the div, indicating we're going to create a new div. So new cards box, that's number 1. So we created this one now, the first one. Then what we want to do is we want to have the card. So we're going to create another one. We say new card. Oh, we don't even need the card box here. Sorry, the card box is the container. So this is basically our container. So that would mean that we need this one here. We say here new card. And then we say new card body equals, and this of course is another div. So we have here this, we create this one, and finally what we need to do is we need to add up these two here. And these two are basically children of this div here. So what we're going to say here is constant, and this constant will be new h3 equals document dot create element, and when we create this element we will say here h number 3, caps locks, always caps locks for these elements, extremely important. Finally, what we're going to do is another one, constant, new p for the new paragraph, and then in here as well, document dot create element, and what we're doing here is the letter p for paragraph. Alright, so we've added these, but what we want to do is a few things more. We added the item, but what we also want to do is we need to add up the classes here, because what we can do here, if you would do now append child, you have to append one by one in the exact sequence as what we have here. So we have to really think how we do it, but we can probably also add our classes. But let's append child first. So we're going to use the append child. Then here is a very important part. We have the parent and we have the child. So basically we have the parent and then append, and append means attach. Attach the child to the parent. So how do we do this? Well, this would probably be the parent, or at least these items here are the children of the card body, which is correct because you can see here they are nested within the card body. This would mean that these two are the children and this is the parent. And then this is the child of the card, because the card is the parent because they are nested within the card. And finally, this is the child of the card box container. I'll just remove this. So just say card box from the card box, because this is nested. These here, the entire card div has been nested within the card box. All right. So what we're going to do here is, I'm going to say another one here, const card, and I'm going to say this const card is just basically to get the query. So we say here document dot query selector, and this is meaning search within the document and then, or go in the HTML document and then search, which is query means search, do a search and search the selector. In this case the selector is the card box class. So we say here, what is the selector's name? Dot to indicate it's a class, and then you say card box. Alright, so we've got this now. So now we have these. So now we can create our item here. And basically we should do this within here. This could be an entire function. We can say here function. We can put it all together, I realize. Function add card. And then we have to make sure that this is here between. There we are. So that's it. Alright, so we have this now. What we want to do now is, because this must be all in the right sequence, following this exact structure. Alright, so what we're going to do first is we're going to get the card box parent and append the card within the card box. So we say here, card box dot, but this is the cart box, I realized, so this should be cart box. And once we have the cart box dot, and then here we put in the following. So what is the item we want? It's this one. We will have to append child with capital letter C, and then here we put in the variable. In this case it's a variable, so no need to put quotations. If you would have like a document selector, another one that you would want to put in here, you can do it as well, but I would highly recommend to use functions in that state, or not functions, constant values instead. All right, so basically what we did is now we have created the new card, and a new card will be in the card box, which is basically what we did is this. So let me show you a visual representation what we did. Basically what we did was this one here. So this is correct. So now what we want to do exactly the same, and then it's for the card body. Let's look at it. The card body is supposed to be between or within the card. So the card is the parent, the card body is the child. So we say new card. Remember, the new card is the div with the card dot append child, and then we put in the card body. So now finally we have the last two, which are the two elements. These two elements are children. So this is basically the one that we're going to focus on. How can you append multiple children? Well, here, pay attention. This is the one we're going to do now. So what we're going to do is basically, we know that the card body is the parent of these two items. However, you want them in this sequence. Why? Because you want them first to show the HR title, or the HR class, this one, and after that you want to see the paragraph. If you would do the paragraph first, it will show first the paragraph and then the HR. Remember that. So what we're going to do here is, well, we can remove this now. I already give you the visual representation. So we say here, append, which one first? HR, or sorry, not HR, H3, the header. That's the one, the H3. The next, what we're going to do is almost exactly the same, where we say new card body, which is correct, and then we first want to show the H3, and then after we want to show the new paragraph. Alright, so once we save this, and this is the add card function here, we need to put in here the button, or we need to activate it. Trigger it by an on click equals, and then we say here, add this function. Once we do this, we save this, refresh here, and now pay attention what will happen. You will not see anything. Let's open up our developer tab and then check if something is truly happening here. And as you can see here right now, it does show here a structure, but the structure is blank. Let's see if I can maybe move this slightly more down. I'm not able to move that. Oh, all right, there you are. So if you see here, pay attention to this. If I press here, there you are. You can see it starts to add up new items as I click. So this is great. However, I'm not satisfied because we don't have the class here. We should have the class design where you can see the items. So let's work on this. So I'm going to refresh this page, go back here, and fix here the items. So what we need to do now is we want to add the classes. So how do we add a class? Well, let me show you. We will do the following. We will say here, well, not on the card box, but here below. Here's the created elements. The created elements, I will call it here. So here in the new card, what is the class we have for new card? Well, the new card was basically card. So we say here, new card dot class name equal, and then we put in here the class name in a string value, which is the card. There you are. So now what happens is this one will attach the card as the class name. So we're going to do exactly the same here for the new card body dot class name with capital N. Make sure you pay attention to that. And then put in here the class name, which is card body, card dash body. And finally, or almost not finally yet, but let's copy this a bit. Then we're going to get here. So where is the items here. We have the cart body. We need to put in this one. All right. Class name. What is the class name here? The cart title. And then finally is the paragraph. And what we can do is as well, we can also add multiple classes. I will show you as well how to add multiple classes. Then we have here, and the paragraph. Well, what I will do with the paragraph, I will give here a class, say font size. Oh, sorry, this will be font big. All right, that's one class, and another one is let's give it blue as the color. All right, so we're going to give it some class here. Dot font big. Let's say font size is 20 pixels, or let's say 18 pixels. That's fine. And finally, what we want is blue is the primary color. So we say blue here, or one of the colors here. Say color, font color, and then we just give it a nice shade of blue, not too strong. And then here the EE. All right. So I'm just making up. I guess this will be a certain bluish color, so we'll see with that one. All right. But then what you're going to do here, let's continue on here. Then we say here the following. We say here, it should be new paragraph. This should have here the two classes that we have here. All right. Once we have this, we can save this now and then refresh. All right. So that looks fine. But then when we add up here, we add up items, but you say, wait a minute, we don't see anything. And the reason why you don't see anything right now, even if we click on it, so this looks all fine, but the reason we don't see anything is just for one reason only. We have no text indicated. We have the classes here. We have added the multiple elements into one append child, but we don't have the classes. Or sorry, we don't have values. Let's put in some values here. So I'm going to put in hard-coded values. And of course, you can also do soft-coded values if you want, but you have to end it up with a certain way of doing it. For example, an input, etc., etc. All right. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to say here, the new paragraph, and then we say inner text with capital letter T, and then in here we're going to indicate the text. Say, hello, this is my dynamic or my hard-coded dynamic class or cart. Hard-coded text in a dynamic card, I guess. That's probably nice. So that will be inner text. Here, what we can do here is, I would say here, hard-coded title. All right, save this. And let's make sure we also put in this. So, because basically here, we're going to get the H3 element, and then the inner text we want to assign to it. So let's save this now. And once we did that, go back here, refresh, and then press. There you are. So now we have here a hard-coded title. There you are. All right. So that looks all fun, and you have all these kind of things. So now we have this. And maybe you say, well, if you're really interested in how can we put in basically the text in here, that's maybe a fun part. It's basically this. We're going to put it here. So I'm going to put in here an input. Input text type, sorry, that should be type equals text. All right. And then, oh, we don't need that. Sorry, I'm just so used to that. And then we have to put in here a certain value, of course. But what I'm going to do here, I'm going to give this an ID. ID. And this will be title text. All right. So I'm going to copy this one, title text. And then we say here, a constant. So we're going to create this constant. We're going to grab this constant. We say here, document dot get element by ID, and then within here the ID will be as well the title text, which is exactly the same as the constant value. All right, and then what we can do is here get element by ID, and what we will do is we will readjust this one, the hard-coded title. Put in that, and then we say dot value. Do you know why we do dot value? Well, the answer is simple. We're going to extract the value here, because this is what you call value. So if you have your value equals, this is the value part in a input. So we extract the value, and then we're going to say the new h3 title inner text will be equal to the value in the title text input that is here. So whatever we type in, it will grab that one. All right. So let's save this, refresh here, and now we say, hello, testing this. All right. So, and then we press this, and we say here, there you are, hello, testing this. So now we have another one. Let's say your to-do list, buy milk. There you are, buy milk. So now you basically have, if you really see what you're doing here, you just have almost a to-do list, which is dynamic, interactive, and you can do almost the same with your text here. Same process. And this is really fun to do basically, because now you create something that is with so minimal amount of code. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you enjoy this video, you probably will enjoy this one as well. And if you're interested in chart.js, check out in the description box the link directing to my chart.js course where you can learn everything about chart.js. And finally, of course, make sure you subscribe to my channel.